My name is Fadi Abdurrahman Mohammed. I'm your host at Sango Insight. We will discuss something that is common in our country, which affects our daily life, which is being discussed in every table, whether in high table or in the middle table, that is the middle class, or in the low table, that is the have-nots. It affects me, it affects you, it's a thing which affects also us globally. What is that thing? That is inflation. Most of the time you see our president, that is His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto, expressing how he has done good in our country since he became president, and he normally says, I've reduced inflation from that particular percentage to this particular percentage. Now today we want to see what is inflation, what causes inflation, how can we stop the unpredictable inflation, which is a menace in our country. Mostly, when they tell you about the prices of these normal commodities we use, things like bread, things like milk, these normal things, even the mbogas, the nyanyas, the kitungus. For those who are watching us from abroad, nyanyas are tomatoes, kitungus are onions. Close to zero, significant zero. But now the prices have hiked up. The price of a bread in the year 1987 was amounting to over 3 to 4 shillings. But today is about 50 to 60 shillings regarding to the brand you want. You know, different brands have different prices. We all know that because they have different qualities. But considering they are close, and when you try to compare them with their previous prices, some of them have went up to 1,000% increase in price. No one will believe you if you tell them that the price of bread in 1987 was 3 shillings. No one will believe you when you tell them that our debt in the year 2000 was only 500 billion. Today we are using the 500 billion to pay only interest and not the principal, only interest. Our government last year paid 600 billion as an interest to a maturing debt. But in the year 2000, our debt was 500 billion. 2008, it was somehow 900 billion. The rain started beating us in the year 2012 when it became 1.2 trillion. 2014, it ended up to 2 trillion, 3 trillion. When the former president was leaving us, it was somehow 7 trillion. Now, it is going up to 12 trillion, where we are in 11.7 billion, 11 trillion, 700 billion, something like that. In just 2 years of our current president, 2.5 years, I guess, of our current president, we have taken a loan of 4 trillion. You see, that is a huge amount of money. And it is correlated with inflation. Now, let's go back to the main point. What is inflation? Inflation is general increase in prices of commodities over a given period of time. Now, I'm not saying inflation generally is bad. There are two inflation, a predictable inflation and unpredictable inflation. Predictable inflation helps to stabilize the economy. How? If you are a manufacturer and you produce goods, when you know at some point the prices of commodities will rise a little bit or will rise to that particular amount of price, then what you will do, you will start producing more goods, which as a result will give you a lot of profits. But the uncalculated ones, the ones which were not budgeted for, the ones which happens as a result of catastrophe, the apocalyptic one, the one which happens, people feel disenchantment with the government, the one which stifles independence of our economy. That one is what we are going to tackle. Inflation can be caused by a lot of factors. One of the factors is it is caused by fluctuation in currency. You know, the exchange, the foreign exchange currency. If you have more dollars than you have the cash, then inflation goes down, because we normally control our economy or our currency with the dollars. But when your currency, the cash, is so high and you have few dollars, I think we have in our reserve, we have like $10.2 billion in our reserve as a country, which is not bad. But when the rate of dollar decreases and the rate of cash increases, then inflation happens. And it also means that we're importing a lot of commodities, goods, and we're exporting less. Because when you're exporting, you're using dollars, but when you're importing, you're depleting your dollars. Now you can see the difference. The other thing is it is caused by natural disasters. We are not anticipating them. That is wars in other countries. You know, they say nowadays the world is a global village. We are interconnected. We do trades together. We have diplomatical ties together. We have a relationship, whether it's bilateral, unilateral. When a country which you have trade with is affected by maybe political unrest or wars, or any calamity befalls on that particular country, then it affects you, because you cannot transact business as usually, because there is no stability in that country. Their exports to you will not be the same, and your imports by them will not be the same also. So what do the governments do whenever this thing happens? And before I go to that point, if a government also prints a lot of money, like what happened in Zimbabwe the year 2008, and everyone has money, but the supply of goods and resources is low, but the circulation of money in that particular country is high, then inflation happens, and that is the biggest inflation. It's called hyperinflation. The government can employ these particular steps to reduce inflation. One, if inflation is high and there is a lot of money circulation, then the government can increase the rate of interest. Inflation generally, it should be within, every country has its own optimal inflation, optimal average of how the rate of the inflation they want. Every country has its own circumstances. But in Kenya, 5 to 7% is not bad. We are currently at 4.1%, which is generally good, which means our economy is being stabilized. And we have good picture from the IMF and the World Bank. They're saying we are doing very much good in paper. But at some point, people are saying that yes, inflation has been reduced. But why are the people not feeling it? That is a topic we will discuss in another episode. But I hope today you have understand the word inflation, what causes inflation, and how can we control inflation, whether it is in supply side or in demand side. The supply side, we have said, is when a catastrophe or an unprecedented things happen outside your country. Is a macroeconomic factor. We used to import wheat and other things from Ukraine and Russia. Now there is war and things are not the same and the prices hike. Also the demand side is when the production is so high and the goods and commodity cannot be accessed by the holo polloi or the normal wanjiku. And we have discussed how the government can control by either, it depends with the both scenario, by either reducing the interest rate or increasing the interest rate, controlling all the junctures of the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how much inflation is important in our economy, essential and very vital. If you find value out of this video, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button, and share these insightful lessons to your kins, friends, and allies. I'm your host, Fadi Abdurrahman Mohammed. This is Sango Insights.